Y'all, that was bad. That was real bad. Cowboys get killed, spanked, clapped, embarrassed, shamed in front of the nation. At home again, 47-9. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, here we go. Here's it out for Lamb. He's got it. He's gone. This is history. This never happened in the history of the NFL.
I can't get mad. I can't get angry anymore. It's unfortunate because, and I know a lot of Cowboys Nation could relate to this, but you just can't get angry because you sort of expect it, but because it's happened so much to this point. I mean, really, literally, statistically, we got killed by the Green Bay Packers. That was panic. That was shock. And that has completely just traumatized Cowboys Nation even to this day. So, okay, that's shock. That's panic. And then it happens against the Saints, and it's still panic too because it's a new season, but it's also, okay, I could have expected that from this Cowboys team because I didn't trust them because of what they did in the offseason. Then it happens again against the Ravens, and then it happens again against the Detroit Lions. So if you're coming on this video expecting a Cowboys fan to yell into the camera and to get angry, we're wasting our time. We're wasting our energy doing that. And what I'm really interested in, if you're watching this video for the first time or if you're just watching me for the first time, is I'm interested in why this is happening. Why are the Cowboys complete opposites at home than they are on the road? Why are they just completely a mess and just completely bipolar? I mean, that's a great way to describe the Cowboys, is they're bipolar. But a word that I need to use and what I saw today is the Dallas Cowboys are dysfunctional. They are dysfunctional. They are a dysfunctional football team, franchise, organization that starts with Jerry Jones. It starts with him because he wants it to start with him. That's the problem. He wants it to begin and end with him because of the pride and the ego. And part of me was satisfied that this was happening at home in front of the fans on his birthday. Happy birthday, Jerry Jones. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed your gift because this is what you have made this franchise. This is your team. This is not just an owner watching his product and watching what he's seeing get ripped to shreds. No, this is what you've created. This is what you've put together because you are so adamant about wanting to be hands-on, unlike any other general manager, any other owner in the National Football League. You're adamant, even though you just turned 82 today, that you want to be the first and the last making personnel decisions on this football team. Look, we can talk about the stats. We can talk about Dak throwing 2 interceptions. We can talk about Zeke, and I'm actually going to talk about Zeke here in a little bit. We can talk about the defense. We can talk about Mike Zimmer. But the why is what is important, and the why is Jerry Jones. And I'll explain it. And maybe you already knew that. Maybe you're agreeing with me and you knew it was Jerry Jones all along. And let me tell you something. You can't get rid of the owner. I understand that. So this is not a video where I'm saying get rid of Jerry Jones. That's just not legally possible to get rid of Jerry Jones as an owner. He's an owner. He owns the team. But there is a process in which maybe one day the clouds will part and the sun will shine, where a general manager steps in and makes actual good decisions for this football team. But let me break it down for you. Why am I not getting mad at Dak? Why am I not getting mad at, believe me, I'll get mad at Mike and Dak and Zimmer and everybody else. But the reason why this happened today, earlier in the week, Ezekiel Elliott is dumbfounded, and Clarence Hill Jr. reported this, asked him the question. Ezekiel Elliott, running back, was recently brought back from the New England Patriots, was asked about the lack of usage of Ezekiel Elliott in the offense. Zeke said he was dumbfounded by the amount of by not being used enough. And so therefore he said he spoke to the coaches. Okay? He spoke to the coaches. Usually when a Cowboys player speaks out about it, they're gone. You're gone. See ya. That's what happened to Amari Cooper. But Zeke's a different type of player in Jerry Jones's eyes. Why is that important? Well, we have to turn the pages back a week ago where Rico Dowdle, well, first off, the Cowboys have had so many question marks with the running back. One position, who's going to be the guy to get primarily the ball? And you could see my film breakdowns where I believe the Cowboys were taking right steps in the right direction with this offense, utilizing their players, pre-snap motion, and utilizing Rico Dowdle, who is maybe not the best running back in the National Football League, but he's the best option available for this team right now, better than Zeke, better than Deuce. Don't even get me started about Dalvin Cook. It's time to play Dalvin Cook. But regardless, okay? I mean, that's the picture moving forward. And you can see the Cowboys statistically going that way, giving Rico Dowdle the ball more. He had 20 carries for 87 yards, his best showing as a professional athlete in the National Football League. The Cowboys are trending that way. Then what happens? Zeke talks about it. It comes out. It makes news. It makes headlines. Now, Jerry Jones has been very adamant about keeping the money on the field. What does that mean? It means whoever we're paying the most, whoever we're paying needs to be on the field because that's where the money is going. It doesn't matter how they're playing. It doesn't matter what they're doing. That's where the money is. And so we need to follow that and play that. That is a terrible philosophy on how to run a football team, but possibly a decent way of running a business. Hence the conflict of interest of owner and general manager. The two cannot coexist, and the only time it's coexisted is when you had a head coach like Jimmy Johnson who got you 3 Super Bowls. I know he won 2, but Barry Switzer took that last one, and Jerry Jones took all the credit for it. So therefore, it's the only possible way of explaining the fact that Ezekiel Elliott got 5 carries for 6 yards to start this game, and Rico Dowdle had 2 carries. That's the only way that Mike McCarthy got in trouble. He got in trouble running a football team, believe it or not, and Jerry made a call. Said, you need to play Zeke more. Well, I brought him back. I can't be wrong for bringing Zeke back because they're already on my you-know-what about not signing Derrick Henry. They're already on me every time I'm on 105.3 The Fan on a radio show about not signing Derrick Henry. So you got to play Zeke because we got to make it work. And I said also this week that we're saving Zeke. So you got to play Zeke. And they did. And look, the Cowboys were never going to win this game. I came out about it in my pregame prediction video. Shout out to everyone who watched it. I said, Cowboys aren't going to win this game. They're undermanned. They're injured. Lions, they got more identity, continuity, and they had our number. The petty Lions had our number, wanting to beat us. Good for them. Good for them. But it's the way you lose. It's how it happens. And the Cowboys never had a fighting chance because their owner took away their best chance. What happens if we give the ball more to Rico than Zeke? Maybe the offense flows better. Maybe there's actual consistency and we can maybe actually keep it in our control. I don't know. But I'm saying that the Cowboys are dysfunctional from the top to the bottom. And it showed in every quarter, every play today. And it was glorious because we're seeing a downfall. But it was also frustrating as a fan. And it was hilarious, too. I mean, just everything that you could think of that has been dysfunctional in the Jerry Jones name recently. I mean, even so to the freaking light from the sun pouring into the stadium. It makes for a beautiful photo. It makes for a glorious image. But it is a problem for these players. I mean, Jalen Tolbert couldn't come down with the catch because the goddamn sun was in his eyes. It didn't matter that we were down, but that's been a consistent problem. And even Jerry has spoken about that. He's like, I'm not going to put up curtains. I'll put up curtains for when Keith Urban and George Strait come to town because that's what makes money. But all that he cares about is, are we buying tickets? Are we buying merch? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? Conflict of interest between an owner and a general manager. The Cowboys are embarrassing. I can't even be fully mad at these players, and I know a lot of them played poorly today, But I just feel bad for them that so many players have come and gone, not just the team that we have right now, and they're being wasted because there's dysfunction in Dallas. Like, I'm telling you, this is the reason why we're so dysfunctional. This is why we always lose. This is why our players can't take pressure, because our owner doesn't believe in winning. He believes in his own personal success. And I'm glad it happened on his birthday. Ironically, it happened on his birthday. Just a terrible showing from the team. And like I said, I expected a loss. I said 31-20. I thought this offense was going to do it. And I had said, I expect this team to lose, but it's the way you lose. I want to see them continue the success that they had in New York against Pittsburgh, pre-snap motion, running the ball, using Rico. I wanted to see that. And I said the worst thing that they could do that would be so disheartening is resort back to their bland ways of football that we saw when we played the Saints, when we played the Ravens. Mike looked lost. It didn't help Dak. Dak looked lost. Dak's not playing his best right now. He threw a terrible interception in the end zone that had no reason to be thrown. It's just top to bottom. This team is so dysfunctional and so frustrating to watch. And I wasn't yelling today. Like, I'm tired of yelling. I'm tired of being angry. It's all gone. It's all out of me. I just got to sit back and take a step and what's the problem? Why did this happen? You want to know the crazy thing too? And I tweeted this, and follow me on X at TonyGoRomo. I said this team is confusing as hell. Like, that's who they are. That's their identity right now. And for some reason, I actually like the fact that they can go to San Francisco and beat the 49ers. Because they have the talent. They can get it done. We're getting people back. We're getting players back. And, you know, a part of me believes this is the last time that we're going to see the Lions as well. They got our number. They got their revenge. So what? We beat you 6 years in a row. 6 times in a row. You got your revenge. You were running fancy offensive line plays when you were up 37-6. Go ahead. Have your cake and eat it too. I do believe, though, that we're going to see this team again in the wild card playoffs. I said that in my pregame prediction video. I know it sounds crazy and hard to believe right now. But okay, we got out of the way, right? I told you the reason why the Cowboys lost. That really is the reason why the Cowboys lost. Now, when we get into the football of it, the Cowboys, I said they needed a run game to win this game. They needed some sort of consistency, some sort of run game to jump off of. And because they didn't do it with Rico and they gave it to Zeke, who was averaging, I mean, if I look at the freaking stats here, Zeke had 8 carries for 17 yards and was averaging 2.1 yards a carry. And even when the game was over and then they gave the ball to Rico, Rico still averaged more. 5 carries for 25 yards, 5 yards average. That's hilarious. But regardless, it just didn't get Dak in a rhythm. And we talked about Dak Prescott being in rhythm, being in tempo. That's very important for him, and that's where he has a lot of his success. And right now, Dak's not confident. You could see it. He is not confident at all. And it could be a lot of things right now. It could be the offensive line not playing the best, even though they shook things up, putting Tyler Smith at the left tackle, putting TJ Bass at the left guard. Now you just got to move Tyler Guyton to the right tackle, get Terrence Steele out of there. Terrence Steele is a freaking liability for Dak Prescott's well-being. That man, and speaking about that, definitely prayers and hopes to Aiden Hutchinson. And you know what? I'll take a pause too. If any Detroit Lions have stumbled upon this, any fans, I do want to say congratulations. You guys played a hell of a game today. Like, just executed everything to a T, ran the ball. I think you probably should have ran it more, and the score would have been a little bit higher. So I'm not going to point fingers, and, you know, Lions won this game. They completely handled the Cowboys and had our number. So hats off to you guys. You guys are going to have a great season. But because Dak Prescott wasn't in rhythm, you just saw everything just melt. I mean, this defense was not going to play well today. We knew that. The Lions run the ball, and they run play action, and they have great weapons. We already knew that, and we talked about that. I knew this defense was going to have a horrible day because you got Darius Harris playing his first game since 2022. You got Damone Clark, who didn't play a snap last week against Pittsburgh. You got all those guys, right? The Lions were going to torch them, and they did. Everything that the Lions did offensively was no surprise to me. 493 yards, 309 passing yards, 184 rushing yards. That did not surprise me. What did surprise me is the Cowboys self-imploding on offense. And now half of that I do contribute to Jerry making a call. You can tell me that I'm crazy. You can tell me that is just full on conspiracy theory. But if you know the history of the Cowboys, and if you know Jerry Jones, and if you know Stephen Jones, obviously not personally, but if you know what they're capable of, and you know just how dysfunctional this franchise is from top to bottom, and how they're ran as a business and not a football team, you would not be surprised if that was actually the case, and if that was actually the truth, which I do believe it is. Regardless, Dak Prescott's not feeling confident. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One of them obviously shouldn't have been thrown. Second one, I don't even know if he knew where he was throwing it because it was in the freaking sunlight. I really don't know. 17 to 33, 178 yards. Cooper Rush had an interception, so 3 interceptions. CeeDee Lamb, oh my God, I almost read the rushing stats. I thought it was almost 1 for 2 yards. No, CeeDee Lamb had 7 receptions for 89 yards. Jalen Tolbert, 4 receptions for 43 yards. And this defense got to Goff, I'm doing the math here, 2.5 times. Look, we went on our rant, if you can call it that. We were vocal about what happened. Okay, it's over with. Now the Cowboys are going to get healthier. Expect Micah Parsons back. Expect Deron Bland back. That will actually really help this team. And based on what I saw this team do successfully and how they improved defensively in the past 2 weeks on that 2-game winning streak and what they did offensively, actually gives me hope that this team and this season's not over. I know it is very hard to believe that right now. And I know how crazy I may look right now. But if you look at the game unbiased and realistically the way I do, and if you know how to take a Cowboys loss like I do, you still do know the fact that the Cowboys are actually a talented football team and will win some more games this year. So the defense had an awful day, but that's because they were playing, I don't even know. It was a bunch of players called up from the practice squad. And granted, the players that did play today, they need to play better. I'm not exempting Trayvon Diggs, who's my favorite player on the Cowboys. Guy played horrible today, but I know part of that is due to the defensive strategy. Regardless, Eric Kendricks is another name that will be coming back too, who is a very important name. And I know DeMarvion Overshown plays well off of Eric Kendricks. So there's going to be improvement. This is not the end of the world. This is not the end of the season. Again, I understand how hard it is to believe and see that right now. But allow me to be. And look, I'm unbiased and realistic, so I'll tell you how it is when it is. You guys know that. And I told you that this week. I told you the Cowboys were going to lose. So believe me when I say this, that there's going to be hope, there's going to be improvement, and it's not the end of the season. Now, offensively, we got to get back to Rico. We got to get back to Rico, and you got to play Dalvin. I see it more than ever now. You have to play Dalvin. You have to play Dalvin. Zeke is a lost cause. It's not going to work because partially, you're not using him in short yardage situations like you said you would in the offseason, but he's just not that guy anymore. So Dalvin, it is his time. But offensively, we can get there because I've seen it in the New York game and the Pittsburgh game. And you know what? I'll double down on what I said in my pregame prediction video. I said that this would not be the last time we've seen the Detroit Lions. And I still believe that. And you can bookmark this and you could save this. And if I'm wrong, come at me. But if I'm right, we better revisit this. because I still believe the Lions are going to go to the playoffs. They're a great team. They're going to win their division. They're going to host a playoff game. But who's going to be that 7th seed that's going to see him? I do believe it's the Dallas Cowboys as a wild card team. So you know what? Do not forget. This is where the Cowboys have to take pride. Do not forget what they were trying to do to you today, where they were throwing offensive linemen out on the wide receiver, where the wide receiver is supposed to be, and they were running trick plays on you, trying to embarrass you for everything. And don't forget about Skipper checking in on the first play of the game. That did not escape my eye. So if you do play with pride, and if you do take this seriously, and you do believe in yourself, you will not forget this game. Use it, build on it. Look, there's still a lot of season left. This is week 6, not week 16. Take this and do something with it. And I do believe our guys do. It's going to be really hard. It's a really hard place for this franchise and this organization and this fan base to be in right now with the way that we lost, the 3 times that we've lost at home and yet to win a home game. But do not forget, I still do believe the Cowboys and Lions will meet each other in the wild card playoffs. Do not forget, they tried to embarrass you today in all facets. Take it personally. And that's the other thing I'll say. Is more than anything, Cowboys fans, look, I came into this cheering for Quincy Carter. I don't care who's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys because I'm a Cowboys fan. I will always be a Cowboys fan. I'm not necessarily a Dak fan. I'm not necessarily a Romo fan. I'm not necessarily a CD fan, nor am I a Des Bryant fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm a Cowboys fan, and that's why I keep it unbiased and realistic. And so this team, still early in the season, it sucks the 3 times that we've lost it, and it's brutal, and it's embarrassing, but it will get better. And I know it's very hard to see that and very hard to believe that right now, but it'll come together. I'm not promising Super Bowl or anything. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just telling you, look past the emotions of it, and I know that could be hard. But when you look at the stats and you look at the team, it's possible. But Cowboys lose. They dropped to 3-3. They're at 500. I mean, it could be worse. You go into 500, going into the bye at a great time, a terrific time, a perfect, much-needed time for this team and its health. Now you got a big game up in San Francisco. You got 2 weeks to win the game of the year. You know how we clown people on going all out for a game like it's their Super Bowl? It's time for us to do that because we need this win. Not for our season, but for our fan base. We need this win to beat San Francisco. And I'd be saying the same if it was Atlanta or if it was Philly. We just need to win this next game, and we have 2 weeks. There's no, hear me when I said it. There's no excuse why we shouldn't beat San Francisco when we have 2 weeks and we get the rest that we need. Oh, boy. If we lose to San Francisco 47-10 after 2 weeks, I better see some names. I better see some names that will be fired. And that's why. I'm just saying. I do believe we beat the 49ers. I'm going to tell you right now. I do believe we beat the 49ers because this team is confusing just like that. They are so confusing, they'll do that to you. Anyways. We're 3-3. We're 3-3. We're 3-3. We're 3-3. We're 500. We could be 2-4. We could be 1-5. But we're 3-3. We're 3-3. Remind yourself that. We're still in it. There's still a lot of season left. It's excruciating losing this way. And I hate losing this way more than anything. Believe me. But once you realize it was sort of expected today, and you realize what can be done and what can be improved, and there's a lot of season left, we'll see. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you. Tough loss. Again, it's just a football game, right? It's just a football game. Don't hit the kids. Don't hit the wife. Go for a walk. It's just a game. It's frustrating. I get that you're passionate about it. I'm passionate about it too. But let's move on. Let's move on. Let's flush this game, learn what we can, move on to the next week because this game is already behind. I'm ready for San Francisco. I've already moved on. If I'm the players, I'm already looking at tape. I forget about this game. There's nothing good that came into this game except Brandon Butter Aubrey. We love you, Aubrey, man. It was the Detroit Lions 47, Brandon Aubrey 9. But be sure to hit that like button, guys. Love you guys. I'll see you guys later. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, here we go.